What's good, big dog? It's your boy Dre. And this is a Samurai K9, Samurai Kennel late night chill session. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling, man. Um, I'm growing this channel. I'm growing my kennel. I'm growing my knowledge. And I'm building my bond with my new puppy. Melee, what it do, big dog? Salute, salute. Yeah, man. Growing my bond with Melee. And yours is probably right over there. I'm looking to see you on the big screen. They all got their own crate over there to my left. Yours in the crate in the corner. But yeah, man, the pups are over there. And right now, I'm just working on building my bond with mine. She's the more skittish of the three. So I got some goals and plans with her. You know, if you've been following for any amount of time, my goal with this one right here, her name is Tsunami. Say Su. Tsunami, my goal with Tsunami is to basically make a dog that can do a lot of scent work. You know, I got Saki. He was raised to be my protection dog, my service animal. Kamikaze is my son's emotional support animal. And yeah, man, RBG was good, big dog. Can y'all hear me? Like I got on this mic, but I don't, I don't know. I don't know if I can be heard or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can be heard or not. So y'all just let me know, man. Let me know. But yeah, man, what's good, y'all? So I'm gonna talk about soup for a little bit. I don't know how long I can spit off whatever I talk about before I start lying. I believe when people talk too long, they begin to tell lies. So thank you. But now, y'all. So two things I love besides my family and God, right? Besides God and my family, and those two things are my dogs and I love people. Like I genuinely love people. I believe that like the term samurai kennel, samurai means one who serves. I genuinely believe in that. So coming on here is cathartic for me, man. You know, after a day of cleaning up dog poop and cleaning up puppy stuff, it's very, very cathartic for me to just get on here and just talk, right? To just get on here and just talk and share my thoughts and get them off. Because a lot of times my thoughts are a little different, you know what I'm saying? We sit at the special table, but yeah, so with Tsunami, I would like to make her a scent work animal. I would like to do a lot of scent work and competitions with her, maybe some agilities, and also basic obedience. Man. Those are the things I want to get done. But to start, my intention with her is to be a full-time house dog. So we're starting with building the bond. And I'm going to just share with y'all what I think I know about building the bond. I have a lot of mentors that are going to teach me other things with this puppy that I didn't ask for help with the other puppies because I never had intention of having a full-time house dog. But this is a dog I want to be able to leave with full roam of the house and go to work and the dog just rest and relax. So the first step that I'm doing is this towel is going to eventually go inside her dog bed. And I'm teaching her that this towel is her safe space. Like this towel is where I want you to be at. So a lot of times when I'm doing the lives or anytime I'm like doing stuff, I want to make sure that the dog is sitting with me on her towel, learning that this is a comfortable, nice, safe, happy place for her to be at, and that she can be exactly what she wants to be, and that there's a free dog OEO, right? So, yeah, building the bond, rubbing on her, petting on her, loving on her, making sure that she knows she is loved, that she's cared for, and that she's valued. And so it starts here. They just had a second round of vaccinations, so I'm starting to take them out of their crates more and get them more involved with the public. That's something I don't like to do until they had at least their second round. But I don't consider my puppies fully vaccinated until the third round of shots. But yeah, like they've had their second round. By most veterinarians, by their second one, they're pretty good as long as you don't take them somewhere like a dog park that has a lot of contamination and stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring her out and show her, and start spending time with my puppy. I want to make sure, Bailey, I want to make sure your puppy gets to you quickly. Big A, I want to make sure your puppy gets to you quickly so that you have time to do whatever it is you want to do to build your puppy stuff. And yeah, man, I love it. So I genuinely and truly, honestly enjoy what I do. Like I wouldn't do this YouTube thing just for money. I wouldn't do it just for clout. Like this feels good, man. If it's one person watching, that's one more person than what I had sitting in my house right now. My entire household is asleep. And I'm out here with my puppy because this is the time where I can train and play with her and enjoy her while there's no distractions. You know what I'm saying? There's no distractions. With my big dogs, yeah, they can get right in and run with the family. But as far as with the puppies, they just need time. And like I didn't take the time I should have taken with her mother, and I'm paying for that now. So I'm going above and beyond to make sure I build a bond with this dog like I did with Saki. That is my ultimate goal, is to build a bond with her where she knows she's safe, cared for, and loved, and where she's willing to work for me because she knows I work for her. But yeah, so Tsunami is double inbred on Saki. So her grandmother's name was Bacardi. Bacardi was a dog I got from THK, Terrence Hope Kennels, in North Carolina, in a town called Bladenboro, where I'm from. But he's actually from a little area just east of there called White Oak. And so got Bacardi from THK, and Bacardi, like this demeanor was Bacardi as a puppy. So this demeanor was Bacardi as a puppy, super chill, and I got her, and obviously I gotta wait 2 years to breed her, but I didn't want a female, I wanted a male at the time. So I, in the process of going through all of that, I ended up moving to Texas and getting another job, getting reassigned to do another job to provide for my family. And so while in Texas, I met Mr. Art from Apache Kennels, and we became fast friends. He was an old school bulldogger that had a lot of skin in the game, and I took a liking to him. He was easy to talk to, very much like Mr. Richard Garcia, very much like Schoolboy, even down to how he sounds. Sometimes if I talk to women on the phone or the other, they sound so similar. It's very. I have to wait and listen to what they're talking about to see who I'm talking to. That's how similar this guy is to Schoolboy. But yeah, so we met, and I met him, and he had a stud dog named Apache Kennels Knucklehead, aka Cabezon. And I love Knucklehead. I fell fast in love with Knucklehead. He's a black dog, very, very serious animal, very people friendly, very serious animal. Like you knew he was like you wasn't gonna stomp at him or do like those things like you might do best friend with a dog. You wasn't gonna play with this dog. Like you just knew not to play with him like that. You know what I'm saying? So very serious dog, but very, very tolerant stud dog. He actually was very. The reason why we were able to do the Bacardi breeding, she's been extremely aggressive, even when she's full send and heat. And so we got that breeding done, and that was done in June of 2021. And out of that breeding came Samurai Saki, the father to this pup, and also her grandfather. So Saki was born August 9th of 2021, and when he was about this size, actually he's about 4 weeks older than this, I accidentally stepped on his leg and broke his leg. That's another story. I'll get into detail about that. But anyway, so I raised Saki to about 18 months. I bred him early because I was having a lot of yard accidents at the time. So I bred him early just in case I lost him or lost one of the other dogs due to just not knowing what I didn't know. So I bred him early, and that breeding went down in February of 23. February 22nd of 23, her mother, Kamikaze, was born. So, that was Saki bred his mother, and then Kamikaze came about. And, she turned 2 years old in February of this year. So, Bacardi passed on, so I wanted to make some more young dogs to put on the ground. And That's what's up, man. Like, somebody, happy CAT shit. That's what's up, man. And so yeah, man. So McCarty passed away the same year that Kamikaze was born, and so I I decided to breed Kamikaze when she became of age, and I bred her and bred her back to her father. I didn't have an out that I thought would add to my program because I'm breathing away from traditional pit bull, like standard, like still phenotypically pit bulls, but I wanted some more trainability, a little bit more balance. Still have a lot of go, but more like a shepherd, you know. But I don't like shepherds. I don't like the fur. I don't like their structure. I don't like their look. So I wanted definitely like, you know, Staffordshire or Staffordshire Terrier type style of animal, but a good dog. So here we have Tsunami, and that's how we got to Tsunami and Sun Tzu and my other yellow pup over there. So yeah, that's how we got here, and that's the story behind this puppy in my lap. For anybody who doesn't know, you know, some of this stuff on this channel might be redundant, but I believe that there's detail. Every time you tell a story, there's more detail to be added as you understand your life and your story better. So I'm going to take my hands off of her because I don't want her to become dependent upon human contact to remain calm. Honestly, if in about a week or so, the towel will transition to the floor next to me. It won't be in my lap. But right now, I want her to get super confident on the towel. Also, I believe that don't give the puppy too much freedom at first. It may even be a week, but basically, the puppy should not be running around freely in here until she understands that I would pick her up and take her outside to utilize the bathroom. I don't want to get her in the habit of using the bathroom in the doghouse. So that's that. But I do have a book here, and this is The American Pit Bull Terrier by Mr. Richard F. Stratt. Now, I'm kind of a purist. I really wish I had a cigar or something to kind of chief on, or, you know what I'm saying, get my nicotine fit from right now. But I don't. So I do have a little e-vape thing I got. So if that bothers you, just turn the channel. You know, you don't have to watch that. But I do consume nicotine again, y'all. So yeah. But this book is called "This Is the American Pit Bull Terrier." I got this off of Thrift Books for $9. It's used. It's not terrible. It's not in the best repair, but it gets the job done for what I'm going to be doing. And of course, the original owner's name was Mario, and he would put his phone number. He put his phone number in. I'm not going to put it on camera, but he has his phone number in the book. I guess if he lost his book, he wanted to be contacted possibly. And what I want to do is, I don't know if I'll stick to it or not. I just want to see how it works and how people like it. I want to read some of this book, and then I want to give my opinion on what's being said as I go through this book. Also, if you don't have this book, this is an opportunity for you to get an audiobook, because I have yet to see an audiobook version of this book. I've seen computer voices in some of these books, but I think there's something to be said about the human side of reading it and interpreting it. Also, I really don't like reading in public. I consider myself a decent reader, but we'll see. We'll see. I actually have a notepad where I take notes typically from this book, and we're gonna start with chapter 1. I guess we'll see if I can get a chapter in y'all real quick and just read it. I'll give you my interpretation of it and how it plays into my life. But yeah, And if y'all like it, you know what I'm saying, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and share if this is a benefit to you, or maybe you've heard the book and you just haven't heard it in that way. But here we go. The American Pit Bull Terrier. Civilize him as you please. Make him whatever color you like, and a man will still worship the born fighter. That is excerpt by John Tantor Foote. That is what Foote said in his story about a pit bull named Allegheny. And perhaps his words provide insight into the fascination elicited by the American Pit Bull Terrier. The breed is something of an enigma, for it has been known under many names, such as Pit Bulldog, Bulldog, Fighting Bulldog, American Pit Bulldog, Pit Bull, Pit Bull Terrier, Pit Terrier, and officially as the American Pit Bull Terrier. Such a plethora of aliases makes for confusion among the public and has caused many writers to believe that there are more than one breed that has been used in pit contests. Such is not the case. Other breeds, from the Bull Terriers to the Bull Mastiffs, and from the Northern Huskies to the Wolf Hybrids to Akitas, have been tried and found wanting. It is not surprising that the Pit Bull reigns supreme once we learn that the animal has been bred for fighting and tested thereby for many centuries. Its bloodlines have been guarded and cherished throughout generations and from the dawn and fall of civilizations all over the world. No one country or age or one civilization can lay sole claim to this valiant breed. Should we wonder then that no other breed can stand in the way of the pit bull? What is surprising to many people is that the breed, what is surprising to many people is that a breed that is such a threat to other dogs should have such ideal disposition toward people. The pit bull has to rank as one of the most affectionate of all dogs if raised as a house pet. I'm going to pause right there. Maybe I got some comments out. I'll check the comments out. So he says, that is what I wanted to do, a YouTube channel reacting to my gazettes and a few books I got. Still figuring things out. Really ain't my lane though. People around still out here in the way, so they don't want to bring unwanted action. Yep, agreed. And I think that is a great idea for a YouTube channel. Reaction channels are always good because sometimes I get information I don't even know how to react to it. Specifically when somebody sends me a pedigree that maybe they think I might be interested in it, but I'm always interested in the story behind the dog more than the pedigree. What can you tell about the dog, the parents of the dog, like the immediate 4 generations of that animal. So when people talk to me, man, I get real, not offended, but just like quiet because I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm looking at the same dogs on the pedigree you're looking at, but I don't know their story, so I'm not going to pretend to know their story. But I will have you that I don't take everything Mr. Richard F. Stratton says as gospel, but there are a lot of things that coincide and that I like to think about. Like he says here, they make, or some of the best ones make great house pets, which is my intention for this dog that's laying in my lap right now, as I'm reading a book about them being used as house pets. So there's a picture here I'm going to show you of a dog named Riptide Rhonda, the daughter of Wallace Talking Boy, taught herself to sit up. She's a fine example of alert and intelligent pit bull. This is Riptide Rhonda. This dog actually reminds me of this dog sitting in my lap, aesthetically. Now, relation, I have to do some research. I don't really care how much they're related or not, but like based on the head shape of this dog, I can see everything like that when she gets older. But I will pick back up in chapter 1, page 2. He will be a veritable lap dog, entertaining the family with tricks he has learned with his generally clownish personality. One theory advanced to account for the breed's unusual, stable, and congenial to people disposition is that he is so far formidable, that he is far too formidable of a beast for it to be prudent and allow vicious individuals to survive, and thus to, to propagate. Okay. According to the theory, the selective process has tended to weed out the mean dogs and has left us with a dog that is almost ridiculously amiable disposition. In spite of his gentle nature, the pit bull, because of his unusual abilities, is unexcelled as a guard dog. Now, the first time I read this book, I had to look up the word unexcelled. This is page 2, paragraph 2, second sentence. Unexcelled means unmatched. There is nothing on that level. Nothing goes above that level. So my question has always been to anybody who tells me, like anybody who knows my program knows that I train my dogs for protection work. I don't breed them for protection work, but I add that into the tricks that they already know. And a lot of people hold Mr. Richard F. Stratton in high regard. And before I ever decided to make those moves, I did a lot of research, and that's where some of my friends would say Dre does his due diligence. He does a lot of research on what he wants to do. So he's at least, I'm at least educated on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. But these are the words of Mr. Richard F. Stratton, and so when people attack me based on my belief, maybe I'm not executing it the way that Mr. Richard F. Stratton is articulating here in the book, but what I am doing is I'm able to give my interpretation of what an unexcelled guard dog looks like because I believe it, right? His appearance alone, with his robust build and his unafraid, direct stare, is enough to deter the majority of would-be burglars. If more is desired, the breed is easily encouraged to protect property and people. The author must confess to a certain personal prejudice against attack-trained guard dogs for the simple reason that record indicates that they bite women and children more often than they do burglars. That is a fair assessment. And he admitted to having a personal prejudice against guard animals. He also never articulates that he himself has ever done any type of formal training to be able to appropriately address behaviors created when you create a guard animal. However, it must be admitted that the pit bull, properly trained, is a guard dog par excellence. And he is less likely to bite the wrong people. In fact, the author knows of several cases where intruders were subdued without being bitten. So what he's saying is, I don't agree with it, but I can give you examples where the dogs have been successful as guard dogs, even to the point where biting was not required. A friend had always kept a pit bull as a guard dog for his business and a companion for his wife. So satisfied was she with the breed through the years that they never even considered trying another breed. Time after time, the dog proved his worth. Yet he never hurt anyone. But somehow he conveyed the message that he could do untold damage if his hand were forced. A case in point. And a humorous incident to boot. There was a time when a policeman entered the back door of the owner's establishment uninvited and unannounced. It was late at night, and the officer was checking on a crank call. And to top it off, the officer had gone to the wrong building. Unfortunately, Josh, the pit bull involved, discovered the intruder and was unimpressed by his credentials. Even if he was in uniform, Josh drove him back against the wall and kept him spread eagle there for a good 20 minutes. Every time the officer went for his gun or tried to get away, Josh pushed his snout deep into his abdomen and gave a low and incredibly ominous growl. Now, here was a case in which the intruder was subdued but not completely unharmed, although, needless to say, he was quite happy to be rescued by Josh's owner. How? So for those of y'all who are new to the breed, this book is a great read for you to check out. If you're new to training, I discourage you from doing protection work until you consult a certified trainer, um, somebody who understands not only protection work but understands how to introduce you to protection work. There are people who can train dogs in this world that can't train you to train your own dog. So I encourage you to find a trainer that is a trainer teacher that can work with you so that you can handle your dog when they're not present. But in the spirit of learning tonight, I'm going to keep the chapter going. And if y'all got anything, leave a comment. I'll get to the comment. I actually have a PDF of that one too, Melee. And if you think this is effective, man, I keep doing this, man. I don't care if I got one person in here. This is one, it gets me through the book. It makes sure that I get my 10 minutes of reading in per day. And it allows me to articulate my thoughts on what is going on with these books. Mike Dan was good, big dog. Salute. Chapter 1, page 11. Picking at random other advantages of owning a pit bull. Let us consider the vet bill. These dogs are downright bulletproof. Or, as an old friend used to put it, you couldn't kill one with a hammer. What he meant, of course, was that individuals of this breed are hard to kill, either by disease or physical injury. Caveat: once they hit a certain age, typically around a year, they're very, very difficult to kill. But as you know, I recently lost a lot of puppies due to inexperience, lack of the proper facilities for pups, and a slew of other things that most puppies would not have survived, especially heavily inbred puppies. A selective breeding process to extend over hundreds of years has produced exceptionally hardy and tough animals. The famous veterinarian Leon Whitley has made note of the fact that the derivative of this breed, the bull terrier, the cross with the distemper-prone breed bloodhound, prone to produce progeny that are highly immune to disease. James Thurber, the famous writer and humorist, reminisced about his boyhood dog, a pit bull, and how the family became convinced that this dog was indestructible after he survived a series of accidents that would have been fatal to any other breed. For those who become annoyed with barking dogs, and that surely must include 90% of the world population, the pit bull is a pure pleasure. Unless encouraged to be barky by his owners or conditions, the pit bull is almost ghostly quiet. Now, right now, shout out to Mike Dan, shout out to Melee. There are 3 puppies in this room right now. There's 2 dogs in my backyard right now. Now, to caveat that, he says, nah, I F with that, there's no cap. That was my thinking, because most don't have certain books. So I thought it would be raw to share it with the, yeah, absolutely. But for me, I think that everybody picks and chooses. I look at this like kind of almost like a Bible for it, right? Everybody picks and chooses which parts they want to listen to it, right? And so I think that for me, somebody who genuinely could care less about the box, but I care about what happened in the box. Like, I don't care about ever betting money on dogs fighting, but what did I learn from the experiences of, like, Jeep? I always throw Jeep out there. I always, like, to me, James Crenshaw, I've never met James Crenshaw, I never saw Jeep. But the story of, it's just like Balto and Togo for me. That's how it works for me. It's not, I don't care how many people he beat. I care about what and how he interacted. There are certain grand champions that I would pick Jeep over, not because of his performance, but because I'm a person that believes heavily in the man and dog working together. So when I do protection work, if Psyche bites the person, I'm swinging on them. If the puppies find a little possum or something, and they get a hold on the neck, I might put my foot on the possum to help the puppy out. Not because it needs it, but it's because I believe that man and dog work in tandem. Just like when the indigenous peoples of America originally started domesticating animals, they worked side by side. They hunted together with the dog. You know, even in a fight situation, man, I believe that if you have 2 equally matched individuals, the one with the better trainer typically is going to win, or the better handler is going to typically win. And these are just life lessons that I believe in, right? But as far as the barking thing goes, and in the book says about barking, I do have dogs that have bark, but also with what I believe I breed away from that. We just talked about it on Toyo's live the other day. For those of you who don't know, like this, like I said, I'm talking to people I know right now, but people are going to watch this video that have never seen my channel before. And we have another channel called Show Unlimited. On that channel, we discuss these things in more detail. Excuse me, a little indigestion. But we discussed these things in more detail, and one of the things we were talking about was telltale signs of a dog that's about to quit. Now, obviously, nothing is done here to be illegal, but I'm going to discuss it here, and I'm going to discuss it very, very articulately. That's why I feel confident in discussing. I do not plan on being involved in anything illegal, nor will I encourage anything illegal. But there are movies being made right now in Hollywood about drug kingpins, like American Gangster. I love that movie. It's about a drug kingpin. But it was the story of what he did. He revolutionized how drugs were sold and changed how the police were able to intercept and catch criminals. The story itself is what is important. What do you get from the story? I can list 100 champions and grand champions, but what did I get from any of them? I didn't own one. I didn't breed one. I can't breed one. I don't know the people who had them, but the story can help me see something in my dog that I might have missed. And that's what's important to me. That doesn't mean that the breed is lacking in personality. To the contrary, pit bulls are born clowns and utilize all doggy communication sounds. They just aren't out barking fools' heads off all the time. And what I mean by that is, I believe that the dog barks at all times. That's contrary to believes that a good way of bulls are barking. Pit bulls are a good point of view. When I arrive on work at night, and if they're not proactive that day, that's when my dogs are happy dogs. Now, a breed that I would say barks consistently and is contrary to what's in the book is the Chihuahua. Chihuahuas typically are going to bark. I'll probably bring it up. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate the feedback. Let me see if I can adjust the mic. Can you hear me? How's my audio now? We have Cox Internet in my area. Can you hear me? Okay. We have Cox Internet in my area, and the last 3 days, my internet has been acting freaking stupid. So y'all bear with me on here. I appreciate your patience. Thank you. But to reiterate it, a Chihuahua is a dog that is contrary to what I was talking about. Chihuahuas bark all the time at every little thing. The wind blows and the Chihuahua barks. The Chihuahua sees himself in the mirror, he barks. You walk too loudly, he barks. Somebody knocks at the door, he barks. I can raise my dogs up just like I said, I can raise my dogs up and have them go off right now. It would be a terrible idea because it's 10:30 at night where I'm at, and that's not respectful to my neighbors or a good example of the breed for me to do that at night. Okay. Although not related to the Spaniels or retrievers, pit bulls are outstanding swimmers if given the chance to indulge in this activity. When I was a young boy, I used to take my dog, Old Spook, on excursions to the lake along with a couple of friends. He loved to retrieve objects from the water, and he would even retrieve rocks that were thrown in by diving down beneath the surface to get them. Sometimes we suspected he was cheating by bringing back the wrong rock, and we could never prove it. At times, we amused ourselves by throwing larger items like branches into the lake. He always managed to bring them back. We were convinced that he would retrieve a telephone pole if he could find a way to throw it in. Even with all his contributions, I have not mentioned them all, for there are other things to take up in this book. The pit bull is not a dog for everyone, for his legacy is a deadly expertise for killing other dogs. He may not even start the fight, but he will most assuredly finish them. And this right here is big for me. I have a lot of dogs that they will fight. They're not gonna scratch, but they will fight. And the term scratch, when I speak of scratch, I'm talking about scratching to move forward and go get the fight, to initiate the fight. I actually prefer dogs that don't do that because it's just a liability. And like for the purposes I use them for, a dog that scratches, is going to scratch every time is not necessary. I just need a dog that's going. I need to kill him. I need for my life. I need to know that once my dog is engaged in combat, he's going to remain in combat until the fight is over. And in my situation, the closest I've come to combat with my dog is I had I'm assuming fentanyl addict walk up on me when I first moved to Arizona, and my dog had to be employed, and without just like with old Josh, my dog never had to actually bite the person. He just had to snap and continue to bark and snap at the person until they gave up and left me alone. Therefore, his owner must be willing to take the necessary precautions. Of course, most cities have leash laws now anyway, but a prospective owner of one of these dogs must be understanding that American Pit Bull Terriers urge to fight and willingness may be particularly careful to keep his dog separated from others. For the person who likes a well put together dog that can rough it with the best of them and yet is gentle and affectionate in nature as a pit bull will certainly be worth the effort. And then there's a picture of Terry Hammond's Honcho here in the book. All right. So that is page 12, and that concludes chapter 1. So I would be interested to just get a little bit of feedback, from reading, from my interpretation of it, because like I said, there's a bias. It's my bias. It's my interpretation of the book by Mr. Richard F. Stratton. What do y'all think? What I'm saying? Y'all can drop a comment, or let me know. What do y'all think about the reading? Am I going too fast? What's y'all thoughts on it, brothers and sisters? Thank you. All right. And yeah, man. So I want to. Y'all got time for another chapter? Y'all want to get to another chapter? Melee, it's cool. Last night, you just seen me last night here, where I was in here cussing and all kind of stuff, man. I was just having a good time, and I'm thinking about going to the store to get me another Budweiser and doing the same thing again. Not cussing and cutting food, but I'm grown, and during the morning show, I keep it very, very PG-13. There's kids that watch my channel, my family watches my channel. But nah, man, yes, you already, I was cutting food last night, and yes, sir, but it felt good. I need to get off my chest. You know what I'm saying? It really had nothing to do with nothing bad. It was just I want to share my story with y'all, my audience. I want to share my story with y'all, kind of get to know me, because like I think people think I hang out with drag, I get super religious. I'm like I'm very spiritual. I believe in God, but I don't. I'm human. You know what I mean? I'm human. And I like alcohol. Like I don't know many military men that don't like alcohol. I can pass my PT test and as fit as I need to be to do my job and provide for my family. And every day I work on being better. But yeah, man. So that's what's up. I'm gonna press another chapter. Y'all gonna let me read? I'm gonna keep reading. Chapter 2, The Clinging Death. You can't beat the pit dogs for courage. Got to be more courage. Stephen W. Mayer said that. The somewhat dramatic title of this chapter was Jack London's name for the pit bull, The Clinging Death. Although a brilliant author, London was most like people in that he was a little confused about the breed and its nature. One of the purposes of this book is to provide a source of information for those people who would like to find out what the American Pit Bull Terrier is really like. Just as a student of the Greyhound should learn something about dog racing in order to fully understand his breed and how it evolved, so should a person with a serious interest in the pit bull learn something about dog fighting. I'm gonna put a pin right there. Okay. Now, I have trained over 7,000 Air Force recruits and turned over 7,000 civilians into war fighting troops that have served on every continent known to man. And one thing that I've learned in all the training of every single drill instruction lesson that I have ever taught that requires a performance, whether it be drill or setting up a barracks, is that an application portion is required to certify that individual. Everything from breaking down an M4 rifle to how to shave their face. There is a teaching and an application portion for it. And the military says that even for combatives, to strike another individual, you got to do it to understand it. I will never encourage an individual to be a dog fighter. The best I can give you is that if you have two of these dogs and you have a breaking stick, at some point, there may come a time when you will see exactly the fighting history of these dogs in a lawful manner. If your dogs go through what is known as a yard accident, please, I implore you, if you have to have a good veterinarian that understands the breed and is going to take care of your dog and give you proper treatment and not treat you differently. You shouldn't be spending money with a person that doesn't understand the history of the animal. You should not be spending your money with a person who does not understand the history of the animal. While I do not encourage dogfighting, I genuinely appreciate what the history of teaching other people about gameness has done for maintaining at least some remnant of the breed as a whole. Back to the book. If he finds the subject personally repugnant, he will bite the bullet and learn about it anyway. For if he really wants to understand the breed, he must learn the conditions of its formation. To see the pit bull's fighting propensities in perspective, we should also take at least a quick look at territoriality in other animals. Nearly all animals fight, of course, but the fight differs in intensity to a remarkable degree. Ethologists have studied aggression in animals in order to understand the roots of the hostility in the Earth's most vicious creatures, man. Surprisingly, most animals do not square off and fight as we think they do. Most of them rely on a bluff, technically referred to as a threatening display. What is even more surprising is that some of these fearsome predators that we think of as being formidable will hardly fight at all. The Romans thought that out when they tried, let's skip a page. The Romans found out that when they tried to stage fights between lions, those high walls of the Colosseum were not there solely to keep the Christians from escaping. They also had to be there and higher to keep a lion from leaping out. Most fights between predatory animals consist of a brief flurry that could hardly even be described as anything more than a spat. They usually end when one of the participants hightails it. On the other hand, some of the more protracted and vicious interspecific fights took place among such imposing animals as a common chicken. Another animal that fights fiercely is the dove, the symbol of peace. The dog, for whatever reason, is one of the few predatory animals that performs moderately well in any event. It was the species that eventually produced the greatest fighting animal of them all. Pound for pound, nothing else can hold a candle to a pit bull, not even a wolverine. Some poor misguided souls feel that it's fantastic ability that was bred into them that makes the pit bull a freak. But really, it's more of a freak than other specialists such as birds and herding dogs or trailing dogs. Breeds with unusual abilities have been developed through selective breeding by intensifying and modifying, to some extent, that which has already been present in their progenitors. For example, border collies herd sheep. Wild canids herd animals too, in order to kill them. So right there, shout out Mike Dan, salute. He says, basically, it's got to already kind of be in there. Yes, the border collies herd animals at a higher level because they've been bred specifically and selectively bred to do it at the highest level possible. But even wolves herd herds of deer or herds of moose to kill them. So anything that is already in the canid family, you can bring out of your dog through training, selective breeding, and behavior modification. Just what I'm saying. Bird dogs sniff out game with variable telescopic noses, and wild canids do the same thing, not with the quite same olfactory excellence. Guard dogs defend their master's premises, and wild dogs defend their dens. Even lap dogs with playfulness and affection have traits that have been refined from the normal sociability that wild animals and canids play toward one another. And of course, fighting is normal amongst wild animals and wild canids. But it is not the same class of the pit bull. The ordinary canid, wild or domesticated, relies heavily on the threat displayed in a fight. 1. The teeth are bare. 2. The hair along the back and around the neck stands out to produce the illusion of size. 3. There is a plethora of noise, growling, and attendant sounds. 4. If it goes far, a further attempt, it is made to intimidate the adversary by rearing up and snapping, and finally even taking hold and possibly shaking. And we talked about this the other day. These are signs that are in the amygdala, or the reptilian brain of the animal. They happen unconsciously. Here he calls them threat displays. In the training world, we call it defense. Dogs in defense. It's in self-preservation, it's in defensive drives. I don't care what you call it. These signs, to me, are not good for a game dog or a guard dog. I want a dog that is unbothered and calm in the situation. My dog, when it bites you, other than barking, because I've taught it to bark as an intimidation factor, the hair on the back, along the back ridge line, does not stand up. He's just doing. You're just a toy. That I told him it's okay to bite. If all these activities fail to stop his adversary, the normal canid, having shot the works, will usually make a strategic withdrawal as possible, even if unharmed by his adversary. Now, let's take a look at the fighting characteristics of the pit bull, the end product of centuries of breeding the dogs that were most successful fighters. One of the most striking differences is almost complete loss of a threatening display, which is why I say again, I do not believe in having dogs. Smiling is okay, but showing teeth is okay. Some dogs show teeth out of excitement, but the hair standing up, the kinks in it, like the kink that forms in the tail when a dog is feeling threatened, I don't like that. Some of my dogs do have it, some of them don't have it, but as a whole, that's something I breed away from. You can't control nothing. It's all genetic lottery, but I do my best to inbreed and make sure I keep my stuff tight so that I keep the same characteristics that I love. A pit bull almost never bares his teeth. That I wouldn't necessarily agree with. I think people got away from identifying flawed traits like that. My dogs don't really bare their teeth. My dogs don't really bark a lot either, but I think that it's okay. I think baring the teeth alone is okay. 2, if the hair on the back is raised at all, it's only during the first few seconds of the fight. That's fair too. That's a fair assessment. 3, remarkably, there is very little noise. There's almost no growling and sometimes none at all. To the uninitiated, the quiet of the whole affair is downright spooky. 4. A pit bull may rear up at the beginning of a fight, but you better watch out. His opponent may outmaneuver him. Snapping, imaginatively called slashing by the Roman writers of the dog stories, does very little damage, and this is part of the threatening display. The pit bull takes hold, shakes, and in general punishes with his hold. He releases only to get a better one. All right, so let's unpack that a little bit. We know, and if you don't know, let me give you some stories or some dog talk in conjunction with this. Mind you, this is all historically speaking. I don't know if it happened or not. This is what I read. The curse snapping definitely does cut your dog, and also those bites are not powerful bites. With a dog, and I woke her up, she's mad at me. The back teeth are actually the damaging teeth. The teeth back here in the front, they're easier to break, they're more fragile, and if there's enough stress put on them, it'll cause the dog to lose their bite. But the back teeth, the molars, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's a really small screen on it for me. But when I teach my dogs to bite for protection work, I teach them to bite with the back teeth, the molars, right? It's okay, girl. I know. You were sleeping. Daddy woke you up. I know. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. You did so good. That's a fine animal. Yes, she is. Yes, she is a fine animal. Yes, she is. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah. But the curse snapping is a thing. Just snapping it, or they call it slashing in Roman times. Like, all these terms don't matter to me, man. Do you get the picture? You know what I'm saying? Do you get the picture? But I talk about Chinaman. Chinaman, another dog I really have a lot of respect for. They said he would destroy dogs' gut. So if you have a dog that would rear up, even in a non-illegal dog fighting situation, not in a box, but just on a street, you're out there with an irresponsible owner, and the dog is running freely, and your dog rears up, and it happens to be another pit bull, just like Chinaman, and it goes straight for the gut. You could lose your dog quick like that, especially if they are biting with force and shaking. It can shake up the intestines, it can cause bloat, you can damage certain organs very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So I'm definitely like, I don't like the rearing up or the curse snapping. But these are the reasons why. And the stories I tell are not to encourage dog fighting. I'm gonna say that very, very strategically throughout this live, because you never know who's gonna get just a glimpse of or a portion of the live. So I gotta just make sure every time I'm doing the disclaimer the right way. But also, you have to understand what combat looks like. You have to understand what combat looks like. And he's just Mr. Richard Abstract. I'm just reading his words and interpreting it my way. Combat is not pretty, but somebody's got to be good at it. To sum it up, the pit bull has almost entirely discarded the use of threatening displays. In turn, threatening displays do not impress him. He is not intimidated by large size, loud growls, or flashing teeth. As would be expected, the pit bull has a strong, agile body. He is incredibly tough too. As someone once said, he is all piano wire and rawhide. He is hard to hurt and hard to kill. His size, strength, speed ratio is optimum. James Thurber tells a charming story of how he and his brothers used their boyhood pit bull to impress other boys in the neighborhood with the dog's prodigious strength and athletic ability. He would drag or pick up huge objects. He could catch on the fly any ball that was thrown as high as a boy could throw it. And at his owner's bidding, he could leap extremely high walls and fences. All of these feats will be similar and familiar to anyone who has kept an American Pit Bull Terrier as a pet. Legendary strength, strong jaws, and the ability to tolerate pain are a stock in trade of the pit bull, and they are important assets to a pit dog. However, there's something else to be said about a pit dog man prized even more: To them, the absolute top priority is gameness. Without gameness, ability is worth nothing. What is more, gameness, the absolute dead gameness, is hard to attain and hard to keep, which makes it all the more priceless. Gameness is a term that is often misunderstood. It is and has been used by the pit dog man for centuries to refer to the trait of never giving up and never quitting, regardless of punishment taken and regardless of how tired the combatant may become. It is important because it often intimidates the other dog. Many pit dogs have given up and thereby lost a match. Even though he was out fighting his opponent, a game dog that has good fighting ability will win a contest against any other game dog that does not have the equal ability. But many game dogs have been defeated by a bigger, stronger fighting dog that did not have sufficient gameness. Pit dog men have always treasured gameness above all else for pragmatic reasons. The game dog wins over opponents that are not game. Strains that produce deeply game dogs are cherished and kept pure of others, even of the same breed. Occasionally, outcrosses to other strains made in an attempt to obtain bone-crushing pit artists. So, okay, for those of y'all who don't know, and everybody else who knows this is like day one stuff, but this book was written for day ones. Old Family Reds, Kobe dogs. Old Family Reds are dogs that typically are red in color, red noses, typically amber eyes, red paws, even red lips. Bred very, very strategically to lock in not only the color, but the trait of gameness. You got Kobe dogs, typically white-ish dogs with brown, brindle, or black spots. What made us say, gotta watch Dog Life, something like that on Netflix. They follow a few strays, shows how a mutt raises a litter on the streets, and shows that he with about 5 males to compete to breed her. Nice, I gotta check that out. This is Netflix. Yes, sir. And then moving forward to like the Eli dogs of Mr. Floyd Boudreaux. Like it says here, they want some people want a bone crusher. Honestly, what I'm breeding for is an ace in protection work. A dog that is very, very strong, crushing bite that's going to stop a person the same way a bullet would. Very, very pain-induced compliance. Occasionally, outcrosses of other strains are made in an attempt to obtain bone-crushing pit artists. However, the deep gameness of such a progeny is always suspect. Even though they are purebred pit bulls of excellent strains, until it evidences itself in a fight, outcrosses to other breeds that I have heard of always ended in disaster. Apparently, gameness is polygenetic and thus easily lost in crosses to animals that are not game. The progeny may be quarrelsome and fight longer than some other breeds, but that, of course, is not sufficient to win. The reason the Great Dane or the Bull Mastiff does not win, as so many think it should in a fight against a pit bull less than half his size, is that he screams and runs when the pit bull clamps down on him. It is only natural that an occasional pit dog man would come up with a scene and make a little money off of the boys by challenging them with a hybrid half mastiff, half pit dog. The idea being that gameness afforded by pit bull blood would carry the animal through long enough to allow him to disable a smaller pit bull with superior size and strength. Although the progeny often has prodigious strength and size, the gameness was never sufficient to win. I told you I got female down arrowhead stuff. I want to take to his yard. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Knowing how precious gameness is, and how long it must have taken to attain that quality that the old time bulldog possessed, can we really even take it seriously? The old tale that the pit bull was produced by a cross of a bulldog with a terrier? There is no reason to believe it. Early writings, the sole basis for that belief, and the unreliable, self-contradictory stuff. Paintings done 300 years ago show that the bulldog looking very agile with a long muzzle. In fact, it looks a lot like the pit bull today. Pictures were done about the same time that show bulldogs with their pushed-in noses and screw tails. Apparently, even in those days, some strains were found and bred for unusual appearance, while others were bred for performance. The short noses, if they were to believe modern writers, were designed to allow the bulldog to breathe better when he had a hold on the bull. Don't believe it. The public, the public has never been hoodwinked by that kind of idea for years. The bulldog cannot breathe right even when laying in its own bed, while the pit bull has been able to breathe just fine regardless of that hold on a bull or a dog. Isn't it more logical to believe that the pit bull is a direct descendant from the old fighting bulldog with no crosses to dilute it to all the important gameness? Maybe this is why he is often called bulldog by the pit dog men even today. We made it page 20, y'all, chapter 3. And this old drummer, old hound looking dog, you know. Drummer is owned by Broadway Jack's champion drummer. Don't matter what the dog look like, matter what the dog look like inside. So this is the book. This is the American Pit Bull Terrier. I think I like this. Not the book. I know I like the book. I think it's cathartic for me to read this and meditate on it and get my thoughts out on it. It feels really good to just chop it up with y'all and share the book. If you haven't purchased it, I got it on Print Books for $9.99. The next book that I'll be, if this continues, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like I just like reading the book. I'll come out here late at night. I'm getting a little like the reading can ease my mind. My pups sleep again. Yeah, I know, Mike Dan. I know, and it's a lot of dogs that look like that, man. But once again, those gentlemen were breeding for performance, and I'm guilty of this. I like a certain look, but it's because I breed and go to shows, and I'm not gonna follow the trend. I know what I think a bulldog looks like. Like I think this dog right here. I think what's this going like Barney on the cover. I think this dog looks fantastic. No, this is a female. This ain't Barney, but like that to me, that apple-headed look. That's just something mean to me. That's a personal preference. It has nothing to do with the performance of the dog. I've seen him without the apple head. I've seen him with the rounded dome piece. And honestly, if the dog could do the kind of work that I want to do, the protection work, to sit down and stay, I don't care what it looks like. You know, when I bred Bacardi, I didn't breed to get another buckskin dog. I bred her to a black dog. I didn't care what color came out. And it just so happened that I realized, okay, she just throws these. Then I got the book, and he started talking about, later in the book, he talks about the old family reds and why they kept breeding them. They didn't breed them for the color. They bred them because the color was an indicator for them that, okay, whatever else it is, if the color is there, then maybe the gameness is there too. And that became consistent for them. They believed in it. You know, getting the same color over and over again said that we got a chance, because red is considered a recessive color too. If we can get the recessive red to stay, maybe we can get the recessive gameness to stay. Yeah, y'all, I feel at peace. I feel good, man. I feel real good. The puppies are at rest. I'm gonna put her back in her crate, and I will show y'all the other puppy, or give y'all a glimpse of the other puppies before I get out of here tonight, because I believe so heavily in, you gotta know what you're talking about, You gotta live what you're talking about. You gotta practice it, and you gotta rinse, wash, and repeat it daily. But yeah, man, like I'm happy. I want y'all to see her eyes are actually closed. This is a good bonding. This is a good bonding hour with my puppy tonight. She's hearing my voice. She's hearing me move around, and the overall goal is this will become her normal. When I'm chilling, when I'm talking to people, she won't be in my face, jumping on them. The human voice is just talking and just listening. The dog will just be sitting there listening, but it don't come from just whooping on the dog. It don't come from no e-col. It just comes from, this is bonding. This is spending time. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what bonding looks like. You just sit here with your dog, do what you normally would do, and teach the dog that it's okay to just be around you. I don't need to touch her. She's just happy with my body heat, just happy with my smell, and she's taking it all in. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Let me get her put up. That is gonna wake her up, but it's fine. That's fine. She'll probably potty, but I have cedar chips down to collect any urine, and it also helps. It smells really good in here. And I also use this is the Fabuloso I switched. I love the smell of this one. I love the smell of this pomegranate Fabuloso. Might or might not know a black dog champion mayor is down off a pair full of blues staff stuff. I say full, but most want to see, yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what, if there was a bunch of blue winners, I don't think this conversation, like that conversation would even matter. If there was a bunch of all white dogs that won, I don't think that conversation would even matter. But we need to see more. I haven't seen enough of them or heard enough of them in comparison to the other lines, the other dogs that don't throw them before it matters. And I want to say that Mr. Stratton talks about blue dogs in this book as well. I know he talks about the old family grade, and I think he talks about the blues as well. Let me get her. She's gonna be mad at me. She got to wake up, so I'm gonna put her over here, and I'll take y'all over here and show y'all the pups, and then we'll end it on that note. So here's Tsunami. Hey, Nami. Hey, Nami. Here's Zuzu. Hey, Zuzu. Hey, Zuzu. Zuzu. Hey, Zuzu. And then back there, that joker is knocked out, but you can barely see him back in the back corner. Melee, since you're here, I'll wake him up. All right, Mike Dan, salute. Salute, man. Big salute. Not me. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. So, I'm shutting it down for the night, man. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully I see y'all in the morning for Pup of the Week. If I see y'all tomorrow for Pump of the Week, man. But your boy got to get some rest himself, man. Peace.